Thank you to our sponsors for today's video, Ambient and StarCharge. Ambient offers a modern extended warranty for your Tesla's battery and more without the burden of long-term contracts or upfront payments. Check out the link in the description below to browse their plan options and get started with a free over-the-air diagnostic check. This video is also brought to you by StarCharge, the largest EV charging manufacturer in the world, and they are also a provider of residential or commercial battery storage and microgrid solutions.
Hello and welcome to another Out of Spec Reviews video, and this is a very anticipated one. Welcome to the Volvo EX90. This is the new three-row fully electric SUV from Volvo, a sister car to the Polestar 3. And in this video, I'm going to take you on a full tour. We're able to now share the final US and European specifications for the car. We're able to go tip to tail, try out all of the software. And I've already had a little bit of a preview on this vehicle about a year and a half ago, I think it's already been, where I had my first glance, but that was a very early prototype. And now we have actually a production car. Now we're also able to drive this car for the first time, but I can't tell you about that until September. So you'll have to give us a couple weeks until we can share basically an addendum to this video, which is how it drives. But I'm able to tell you everything else, and I still haven't driven it yet. So we're gonna film that video afterwards. So Jordan's been driving around all day. He brought it up here to, we're somewhere near San Diego or Irvine or Orange County or insert Southern California.
We're in Southern California, yep.
Southern California to me is just LA. And we're gonna go tip to tail on the EX90. So this is a very highly anticipated vehicle, and we've got a lot of ground to cover. So strap in, it's gonna be a long video, very detailed, but you're gonna know everything you want to know about the Volvo EX90 by the end of it. So join me. Disclaimer, Jordan, we are not, what am I trying to say here?
This is setting them up properly.
This is setting them up properly. This video is quite convoluted and hectic. Normally when Jordan and I take you on a full tour of a vehicle, we have our own little process and it's very smooth. This is a clunky one. I'm getting bounced around between this, that, and the other. So don't expect a very cohesive, smooth flowing video. I'm like, let's jump in the third row and then 45 minutes later actually get in there. So just letting you know, you feel free to roast in the comments. This one is not planned out. It's just us exploring the car as things come to mind. We forgot to mention though, later on in the video, on the 22s, these are arrows. These are like an $800 option or so. These covers do come off, so you can actually change the shape of the wheel, which is pretty nice. So yeah,
so buckle up.
All of this.
Everything you want to know is in this video. It's just maybe not perfectly fluid. And part of that's because, you know, we had one half of a day with this car, basically. It's like a few hours. So
yes. And I haven't slept in a week.
Right.
So you'll be able to see that. Actually, I was sleeping in the back of the car on the way to go shoot this video. Jordan, where do we even begin with the EX90? There's a lot to cover just in terms of the competition, where this fits in. Actually, just yesterday I was playing around with the Lucid Gravity, which is going to be a direct competitor to this. We've also tested a bunch of electric SUVs over the last few weeks. We've done Kia EV9, which is also a direct competitor. We've done Mercedes EQS SUV, which might be on a little bit more of an expensive end, but also a three-row. We've done Tesla Model X three-row refresh. We've done Rivian R1S, like every variant, and even the new Generation 2. This is a very crowded segment.
It's getting more crowded. Yeah, at first it was like, wow, a three-row SUV, and now we have 6 if you include this and Gravity.
It's pretty incredible how many electric vehicle offerings are coming to market now, which I'm really excited to see. Well, anyway, this is the Volvo EX30, and to me, EX30. We've already have a video on the EX30. If you're curious about it, by the way, we'll reference that video as well. This is the EX90, the big boy, and to me, it really marks a new generation of Volvo. This, along with EX30, paint the picture of vehicles that are designed, engineered for an electric future, but also with a lot of Geely stuff. We're going to see some part sharing between Zeekr and Lotus and Polestar and the entire group. Some of those things end up in here, but then the entire design team and a lot of the engineers we spoke to who are at this launch event are also straight from Volvo, straight from Sweden. So it has its own character, its own vibe, its own situation. So I think let's start with the hard points, which is what the heck even is this thing, Jordan? Do you want to start with battery pack perhaps? Because I have a whole spec sheet here.
Yeah, 111 kilowatt hours gross, 107 usable. So same as Polestar 3. And it's a decent size, bigger than EV9, bigger than a lot of the competition we already mentioned.
Yeah, it actually is maybe one of the larger batteries other than R1S.
Yeah.
Because Mercedes EQS SUV is now 108.
Something like that.
Yeah,
It's
plus or
close.
minus same size. But it's 400 volt system architecture. So it's not a high voltage car. However, we should talk about charging that. We always talk about charging. Can we just start with charging?
Yeah,
Okay, here, come on over here. This is the charge port. By the way, doesn't this thing look amazing?
it does. I mean, that's usually where people would start is styling, but we're nerds over here.
Hey, you have eyes. What do we need to tell you what it looks like for? I mean, what is this color called?
I don't remember.
Me either.
Something-
They also have a hearing aid beige. And those are the two launch
Which is not what it's called, but
No, it's definitely what we're calling it. This is a US specific car, which I'm excited about. So we have J1772 up top, 48 amp onboard charger. And then we have a DC connection here at the bottom for the CCS connection. This same thing as Polestar 3.
Rip it out.
First thing you should do is just remove that, 'cause that is awful. I don't know who thought this was a good idea. 250 kilowatt peak charging speeds. I don't know. Okay, there's a lot to dig into here. Maybe we'll dig into that in a minute because I have some questions about that 250 kilowatt charging speed. Jordan, we have some issues with EX90 right off the bat.
Yep.
The issues are the car is not launching finished. The car is launching with an unfinished product. And this is the first time we've really seen, other than I would say Cybertruck, a blatant unfinished product coming to market.
Yeah, you're right.
Is that the right way of putting it?
Kind of, because Cybertruck, shipped with the capability of, like, example, locking differential, and then that was added later through software update. Similarly, I mean, the elephant
Same
in
with
the room,
autopilot.
Yeah, and the elephant in the room is the LiDAR thing on top, which
It's like a
doing
Uber
nothing.
and Lyft looking thing
Yeah,
up here. It's like
imagine,
a taxi.
Imagine that, guy. It's just a taxi thing on the front of that. It's perfect.
So that's not functional at the moment.
Nope.
And actually the Polestar 3 that we've already tested on this channel, Jordan, was a China production one. And that car, which the reason we mention is they're both built on SPA2, Scalable Product Architecture 2. EX30 and Polestar 4 are built on SEA, Scalable Electric Architecture.
Even though this is electric.
Right, but then they also have other ones like CMA
Yep.
and EPA, and there's other Geely platforms out there, but we're not going to confuse our audience by mentioning any of those. Let me just walk you through the list of what's not coming at launch and what Volvo has to provide as an over-the-air. I'm just going to start, we're starting negative. This is what Volvo has to provide as an over-the-air software update to their customers post-delivery. Tesla, Rivian, and even Lucid have already proven that consistent over-the-air software updates can work for surprise and delight functions. I would say Tesla proved that launching an unfinished product and then promising future updates with no exact timing annoys customers.
Yeah, no one
At least it annoys me.
Yeah.
Because I still don't have autopilot in my Cybertruck and I've owned it for
8 months.
something like that.
Yeah.
Don't know how long I've had it, but it's really annoying. I feel like this thing we're not talking about major stuff here, which is great. So let me just walk you through the list. There's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10 items.
Ooh.
A list, and this is what Volvo has emailed to reservation holders,
Yep.
of which we have a reservation for this car.
Did you get an email?
What was that? Did I
you
get the
get
email?
the
I think I got the email. They also emailed me about my EX30 reservation,
Right.
where we have to wait for Belgian production. Speaking of that, this car is built in South Carolina. This is a U.S. car, U.S. VIN, and they will, I believe, have localized production for China market, but U.S. cars will be Europe and China. And yep, it's a U.S. car. This one, in case you're curious, is number 523.
Cool.
How cool is that? And this is the full Twin Performance Ultra maxed out spec. Here's what's not coming, Jordan. LiDAR first safety scenario. The EX90 combines LiDAR, radar, and cameras for a detailed view of what is around the car. Volvo car safety vision will go to yet another level with a future LiDAR update that increases the car's abilities, even in darkness, and emergency steering is primed if needed to avoid a collision. So what they're saying now is right now they're using radar and camera to do all the lane changes, driver assistance, and emergency functions. The LiDAR is currently just in a data collection standpoint. They're basically training the LiDARs, getting the swarm data or getting the large data feed before they update that to the cars. We cannot tell the viewers how it drives with the adaptive cruise control system yet, so you'll have to wait for the driving video to see if that is a make or break for you at the time of delivery. Anything you wanted to add there, Jordan?
Well, yeah, I mean, that was one of the big things when they first announced the car, was that this will have amazing LiDAR. And it's extremely capable in darkness, like I forget, 80 meters, something, 200 meters, I don't know what it was. Crazy amounts of distance in front of you. Like, basically a few major talking points in the announcement for this vehicle are what it's not shipping with. And that's the issue I think a lot of people have.
Okay, that's disappointing. So cross traffic alert with automatic braking is not in there. Straight crossing path, which is the EX90's ability to keep a lookout in the areas surrounding the car, is already very good, and soon it will receive a boost that gives it even more powers at crossing. It will be able to notify you of potential hazards coming from the sides when crossing intersections. Other vehicles have that, and that will come through an over-the-air update. Curve speed assist, where it can automatically slow down for curves. I actually don't like that function usually in cars, and so I'm glad that it doesn't have that. Apple CarPlay will come. It doesn't currently have it.
Which is crazy.
Yep. A light theme in center and driver screen.
So it's permanently dark mode right now.
It's permanently dark mode. Okay, so then we'll get a light background for the screens. These are little minor things. I mean, okay, interesting. It will also reduce battery drainage. They say right now if you park it, it will burn 3% per 24 hours. And then after 72 hours, the car cuts off all energy draw.
Wow.
So you basically have 10%. Yep. And then it goes, okay, we're going to shut off all the systems. That will improve, so phantom drain will improve. It's interesting how the car basically stays awake for 72 hours after parking it, though. That's an interesting one. And then I'm sure you'll have to wait for screen boot ups and all the other stuff if you wake it up while cold. It will also, smart charging, so where you can do like scheduled charging at home, although there's menus in here for that, but they might be grayed out.
Yeah, some things are.
Okay, and then plug and charge is currently not available, but that will come. Yep. Speaking of plug and charge, this car will also gain access to the Tesla supercharging network with an adapter by the end of this year.
Yep.
That is a direct quote from a Volvo representative.
And they don't know if they're shipping with an adapter right away, but...
Or it'll come in the mail.
Or it'll come in the mail or something, yeah.
Probably come in the mail.
But no NACS at launch. A lot of people are asking about that, so no.
Yeah,
no
that's
NACS.
a real surprise. I thought because they were quoting 250 kilowatts, they were going to have NACS on this thing because that's the only way to actually do it with the infrastructure in our country at the moment. And then also, this is kind of interesting, bi-directional charging and vehicle to home and vehicle to grid, which is a very complicated process. And I've just installed my first ever bi-directional charging system at my house with the Cybertruck PowerShare, which I think is a great way to unlock the capabilities of a very expensive battery you've paid for in your vehicle. This will come, but it doesn't say if it will do it AC or DC, but that's one of the things we can ask the engineers later on towards the end of this video, because we have the car right now, and then we're gonna go have a meeting with all the engineers and answer maybe even some questions we have. So, we only have one day with this thing, so join us basically as we figure it out with you. It's not gonna be a smooth video. So those 10 items, Jordan, none of those are deal breakers for me.
Yeah, I would agree. There are some disappointing things from the people who were nerding out about the things they promised at launch, because the vehicle to home, vehicle to grid, the LiDAR, like those are big key points in their keynote presentation unveiling the car. And then they're not coming at launch. CarPlay is a deal breaker for a lot of people, interestingly, but if it has really good software, I don't think that's a deal breaker. And this has good software, which we'll see in a second.
Okay, so we can't talk about driving dynamics, but we can talk about style, shape, materials, sizing, software, sound system. Oh, holy smokes, the sound system, dude.
We should have started this video with, this is just a great sound system, and it's got 4 wheels.
It's basically a $90,000 sound system that they've attached a car to. It's awesome.
Yep.
It's awesome. Okay, so I'm gonna pop the front trunk. And by doing that, I'm gonna single pull down here on the little latch, and then there's a little tab. It's actually different than Polestar 3 because Polestar 3 has it over here because they have that weird arrow blade up front. This has it right here, which is, so typically to find the hood release, you would follow the Volvo badge to the end. They should have just kept with that tradition and put this here. But anyway, you just pull this way and that will unlatch the hood. Very shallow front trunk. You have your tire mobility kit, basically, an air compressor. Nothing unusual here, Jordan. This is honestly good enough space, I think, to put some things.
I would throw an EVSE, my car cleaning supplies, and that's like it.
Yeah, this is one of the coolest things ever, actually. This is your windshield washer fluid. Why is that cool? It has a built-in funnel, dude.
Yeah, huge opening, like hand for scale here.
Oh no.
Oh no.
Oh no, it just fell off the mount. I thought maybe I had broken it. Oh gosh, Volvo, don't sue us, please. What the heck? How did that just fall off? No, we got it. It's fixed. Okay. I think.
So, really cool idea, not the best design.
I fixed it. I fixed it. We're good.
If only the charging pin connector could
I was
pull
just
that
praising this and then it fell off.
Anyways.
Also, some crazy hood latches up here. You see this thing, dude?
Oh, wow. Like that whole thing just slides into this whole crevice.
So Volvo is very, very focused on safety. I think that's the number one thing whenever I mention Volvo to a normal person, that these have to be really safe vehicles. And I would say many modern vehicles are extremely safe. But talking to some of the safety engineers, even this morning at this little event we're on, this is a whole new level of safety. Safest Volvo ever.
Well, yeah, and they built their reputation on safety, but it is interesting that some of the 10 things missing are safety features.
Yeah, how about that? Should they have held the launch until those were ready? Right. Or should they have gotten the car out to market right away? Because EX30, my impression in our review, if you guys go back and watch it, the car broke down on us, Jordan.
Yeah.
And it had glitches in software. It doesn't show you how fast it's charging. And there was major things missing. The shape, the design, the interior space, the vibe of the EX30 is amazing. I love that car. It's fast, it's fun, it's really cool, it's quite high quality. But there's some real major, like it needs more time in the oven to bake for another 6 months or a year before it should have gone on sale. That's what's going to happen in this market. Hopefully they get it dialed in. But this thing's already launching without functions. Is it a case of EX30 round 2? That's what I'm worried about.
And that's the challenge. I think I have heard mixed reactions of people who are reservation holders of, do you want your car that's already delayed? Do you want it sooner, or do you want a finished car but later?
Right.
And you get that pull between, I want this now, but it's not perfect.
It's a new thing in the automotive industry. I mean, I really feel like a BMW or a Porsche, or especially all the German brands, a Mercedes, this would never be a topic.
Yep.
It would just be the car's delayed. I mean, look at how long Volkswagen Group delayed premium platform electric with Q6 e-tron and Macan just to finalize the final details. And now Macan's going through a whole nother software craziness before it goes on sale, and they're holding the cars for that.
Yep.
A little different approach here.
Yep.
There's more to talk about on front, but I just want to show everyone the interior because I think that's the real highlight here, Jordan. The car looks handsome on the outside. It looks very Volvo. It's very friendly. It's high quality, but there's so many little things, attention to detail in the interior, little Swedish flags everywhere, that centerpiece Bowers & Wilkins sound system right up front. And to me, this car just has such a great character to it. I once made a review of the Volvo V60 Polestar, and I really loved the title because it was called, this is an angry car for nice people, because nice people drive Volvos. And this is a car that, you're never going to see someone like, I mean, it's just like such a friendly car.
Yeah.
I don't know any other way of explaining it.
It's just got some nice personality.
Come around back. We should show everyone back here because we haven't yet.
Beautiful.
Really cool. I mean, I'm liking this taillight signature. I mean, cues of C40 come out of here. You've got EX30 going on here.
EX30 things, yeah.
Yeah, and trunk space back here. Right now we have the third row up. I'm going to give you a first, second, and third row impression. But dude, like even with the third row up, this is not unusable. Up here it gets a little tight.
Yeah.
We'll talk a little bit about that. And I definitely want to start up front and show everyone the really sick headlights though.
Yep.
And do more specs than a traditional one. But we kind of had to start the review just by saying, okay, there's going to be a little bit of a rocky launch here.
Yeah.
All right, so the first thing I'm going to do is turn the headlights on and off because they're pretty cool. I don't remember how, so give me a second to, oh yeah, lights. All right, I got it. Give me 1 second. Here we go, and boom.
So cool.
How sick is that, dude?
So cool.
And it's completely silent. I can hear just a tiny little electric motor on the closing, but it's amazing. That is one of the coolest features, where you have now your main and high beam sitting behind your running light element.
So this is the modern interpretation of pop-up headlights in a way.
Dude, it's so cool. Cue the comment saying this is going to be so expensive to fix in 8 years. And I know they're going to comment that because that's all the comments are on my Twitter post that I just posted about this. They're like, that's going to be a pain. Who cares? Lease this thing, get it under warranty, and do that 50 times a day.
That's less complicated than the supercharged, turbocharged plug-in hybrids that they've been selling, so.
And I own one of those. and it hasn't broken yet. So I don't know. I actually kind of trust Volvo with some of this complicated technology. I think that's cool. This is really cool. I love this.
Yep.
In terms of design, Jordan, you're a design guy. We've got little cameras around everywhere, very handsome, nice flat surface, very monolithic, if you will. I think it actually would have even looked better without a belt line and just in like the new Range Rover thing. What's your impression?
It's very smooth. They don't have like the grill thing that some of the Polestars have. Like this is more Polestar 4 in the way that it's sculpted, whereas the other ones are a bit more crunchy. I don't know what the word is, but yeah, definitely slender cockpit, which we do see compromising some of the interior.
We're going to talk about that, and it just is, you know, we've had an EV9 that we've lived with, which is a direct competitor, and I was just with Lucid Gravity. This feels slightly too small on the inside, but it's important to remember this is also a global vehicle. This will be sold not only in the US, but in China, in Europe, and in Southern Europe especially. It gets really tight through there, Jordan.
Yeah, they don't want big cars, so that's going to actually be really great for a lot of people. And maybe you just have some small kids. Like, you're not really going to put 7 adults in here and make everyone happy.
No, definitely not. This is not a big person friendly car.
Yeah.
This is not a suburban sized vehicle. This is, I would say, almost feels a bit tighter than EV9 on the inside, but I'd really want to do a comparison before I said that on camera or anything. So there's 2 versions of the EX90. You ready for this?
Yep.
There is the twin motor, and then there is the twin motor performance. Those are the 2 launch specifications. It's possible in other markets there will be a rear drive, or sorry, maybe even a front drive version. And the way the drivetrain is set up is really interesting, Jordan. Both the twin motor and the twin motor performance uses the same drivetrain setup, 2 permanent magnet motors. And in the performance version, it's 200 kilowatt on the rear axle. So that's a big, juicy powertrain back here. And that can be clutch disconnected through a dog clutch. And it also has a mechanically linked torque vectoring system. So it's got to be the same unit that's in the Polestar 3 performance back here.
Pretty cool.
Yep, that's really cool. And then it has a 180 kilowatt electric motor up front, which is sort of your efficiency motor, if you will, probably a little bit taller gear ratio meant for cruising. So you have 380 kilowatts of power, which is not insignificant. That's pretty good. That's like Model Y performance numbers right up there with some of the really quick vehicles out there.
But can we talk about how the website explains the kilowatts of power?
Oh God, you're gonna make us do this to Volvo, really? We've already told all the Volvo people that like you really got to change this. You can explain it.
The actual US website at the moment of recording this shows the EX90, and then it says nominal or maximum horsepower.
Yes.
It says like 370 or 380 kilowatt hours. So they didn't quite get the units right.
No.
And then right above that is horsepower. So it's funny they measure horsepower with the normal, 510 whatever.
Yes.
But then it says maximum horsepower kilowatt hours. A lot of kilowatt hours.
A lot of kilowatt hours. It makes no sense, but that's really a shame because this is a company that is going electric, and I think that's the ABCs of EVs. And to me, that's just, it's not a make or break. It has nothing to do with the car, but it's just, okay, the people at the company need to live and breathe electric to fully understand these things to sell a proper electric car, I think.
Yep.
Some other stats for you, Jordan. So we have, like I mentioned, 380 kilowatt power output for this one and 300 kilowatt power output in the standard one. And let's just see, electrical motor max output. So it's max torque 770 Newton meters on the standard one, 910 Newton meters on this, 4.9 seconds 0 to 60, under 5 seconds 0 to 60 in a 7-passenger Volvo.
Well, that's interesting because that's what that sheet says.
Yes.
Because on the website and on the presentation this morning, it said 4.7 seconds 0 to 60.
Oh, well, I'm looking, excuse me.
Oh.
This is the Euro one.
Oh, okay.
So that's to 100
Yeah.
kph,
Yeah.
so it's 4.7.
Yeah, 4.7 and then 5.7 for the slower one.
Right.
Still faster than the base EV9 has 150 kilowatt motor.
That's, yes, that's the one we had too. that was like 70 seconds.
That's like half the kilowatt hours.
Yeah, right. In Volvo speak, you have to measure power in kilowatt hours now, which doesn't work. Okay, anything else here that I should mention?
Well, interestingly, they said both variants, so performance and non-performance, both have the same maximum range figure of like 308 miles.
I am going to talk about that when I get to the rear clutch situation. But so they say between 296 to 308 miles.
Yep.
This one's got to be 296 because it's big wheels and everything. I think the
22s.
wheels probably impact the range figure.
Yeah.
But just over 300 miles in the standard car. And it's important to note pricing as well, Jordan, because this vehicle starts at $79,995. Why is that significant?
$80,000 the limit of the tax credit.
Yes.
And I guess that doesn't include destination delivery, but neither does the tax credit care, I guess.
Nope, those are fine.
Yep.
So that's the tax credit if you were to purchase one. However, if you lease one, all versions, according to Volvo, will qualify for the $7,500 baked into the lease.
Nice.
So what you should do is just lease it for a day and then buy it out.
I've seen people do the workaround with that. Yep. With other cars.
So don't freak out that you need to get one with like the ugly little wheels, which I haven't seen yet. They might look really good, but these wheels look amazing.
Yeah.
They have 20, 21, and 22-inch wheels on offer. The 20-inch wheels with some basic functions are in the standard car. There's 2 trim levels for each. There's like a basic and an ultra one. And I took a screenshot earlier of exactly what those differences are. So there's the plus, which is the standard one. And that comes pretty nicely equipped with like all the driver assistance. The headlights are cool, head-up display. It's got a Bose sound system, comes standard with a 20-inch wheel. So the US cars come pretty fairly equipped as standard.
Yeah.
Compared to the global vehicles.
They call it the Bose premium sound system.
Right.
Which is not the premium sound system offered for the car.
The premium sound system is called the Bowers and Wilkins Audio. They don't have premium in that one.
Oh, okay. Well, then why is the plus the base model? Or does that insinuate there's a lower model in Europe that we won't get?
I think that means
possible.
there's a lower model, maybe even coming to the US at some point. They have not announced that, but probably in Europe.
That'd be cool,
I mean,
yeah.
because it shows like under plus that you get like climate pack and tailored IP and fixed panoramic roof and stuff that I'm sure will be decontented in certain markets. The Ultra trim includes everything in the plus, of course, but comes with air suspension. So we don't even know how the standard under $80,000 car drives because it's completely different suspension. It wouldn't matter for this video because we couldn't tell you anyway.
Yeah.
But it's just an interesting thing that air suspension for an additional, it wasn't even that much. It was like $5,000 difference.
Okay.
Basically for around $5,000, you get air suspension, active chassis, which I imagine is adaptive damper, soft closed doors, massaging seats, the quiet laminated glass, puddle lights, and 21-inch wheels. That seems like so much content.
Yeah, that's a lot.
As additional options separate from those packages, you can get these wheels
Yep.
and the Bowers & Wilkins,
Ooh.
which is probably a few grand, and
is
it's worth
worth
every penny. Maybe you just get a base car, tick the Bowers & Wilkins, that's it.
If you can, that's awesome.
Yeah, I don't know. So, okay, that's the pricing structure for the car. I think it's priced, you know, certainly in the upper end of the 3-row market, but it's actually right with the competition because Rivian R1S is right there. Certainly EV9 is going to be less expensive, but you can spec an EV9 into the 70s.
High 70s, yeah.
So it's in line, but certainly these are, we're not talking cheap, everyday, you know, EX30 prices. This is not a $35,000 car.
So that was a point of controversy. This is coming out at a higher price tag than they originally advertised. But also that's happened to like every other car too. Like this is fitting within the market. You know, Rivian raised their prices. Like a lot of people have gone above what they quoted however many years ago that they announced the things. So.
Yeah. The EX90 with its 111 kilowatt hour gross battery, 107 usable, has DC charging up to 250 kilowatts. I've already mentioned that. Why is that a very odd number in our market? Well, the answer is pretty much every high-powered DC station that you can bring this car to at launch with the CCS port will be capped at 500 amps. And at 500 amps on a 400 volt system architecture would be 200 kilowatts. Now, this battery could be high 400 volts, it could be low 400 volts. We have not had the chance to plug it in and charge it. You'll have to actually wait for our driving impression video to see if we can even squeeze in a quick charging test, which it's not looking like we'll have all that much time, Jordan.
Yeah.
But eventually we will be able to see that. But my guess is you'll see maybe between 190 and 220 kilowatts peak on most public DC chargers. There is one charger that's installed pretty ubiquitously. I mean, at least one in every major area. It is an EVgo Delta high power charging station. We're really off into the weeds right now, but that one can go up to 540 amps, which will get you maybe 220, 230 kilowatts on this car. You could not achieve 250 kilowatts with this vehicle at all in our market at launch. It's not possible. So even though the car can take it, no charging equipment can go on that much current to do it. If it was a high voltage vehicle, if they use the Lotus Electra battery, which is similar in capacity but can charge at 350 kilowatts and is really a big boy charging monster, that's what I wish they put in here.
That would have been a mic drop moment.
This would have been the end all be all. This would have been the clear SUV of choice, but it just, that was not in the cards for Volvo. They kept it low voltage for SPA too. And so I think once you get supercharging access with the adapter, we'll see. I think right now I've never seen a case of the adapter going above 500 amps. And when you get native NACS, then for sure you'll get full power, is my guess, because in Europe they use CCS on superchargers, Jordan.
Yep.
And we've already seen Polestar 3s at supercharger V3s getting 250 kilowatts.
Nice.
Don't know what the charging curve is like. That's a really big question mark for me, but it's around 30 minutes from 10 to 80, do they quote?
I think that's what they quoted, which is not bad, but it's not class leading. It's just decent.
DC charging power and then time scaled about 10 to 80% loading rate with the battery starting at around between 20 and 35 degrees C would be 30 minutes on a 250 kilowatt charger, 32 minutes on a 200 kilowatt charger. So we're not talking much difference here, but that tells me that the charging curve probably isn't that good.
Yeah, or not good way down low. Like maybe it'll hold deep into the pack, but I don't know.
Well, no, because then that would be more than a 2-minute difference on 50 kilowatts going from 200 to 250.
Yeah, but maybe it holds like just under 200 deep into the pack.
Yeah, maybe. We'll see. I don't know. We haven't really charged this battery yet. My guess is we'll be able to charge Polestar 3 ahead of this one.
Yeah.
Because they're already kind of out there. And of course, I imagine it'll be the same tuning.
Yeah.
So we took a quick glance, but this is the trunk. I'm going to pull this little bag out here, Jordan. So first of all, right now we have the third row in the up position. To lower the third row, I think I can push this button.
Nice.
And it's power. Wow. Dude, that's pretty nice. I'm going to do the left side now. One touch. Little electric motor. That's really nice.
That's cool.
That's really cool. So now you have how I actually imagine most of them being most of the time here.
A lot of people use it as a 5-seater.
Little grocery bag holders back here. Typical Volvo. How cool is stuff like that? I love the little details like that. Oh. You have a pretty deep underfloor storage. Wow.
That's good.
And this is here.
Removable. That's great.
Wow.
I did not expect that. That's bonus material.
Dude, I didn't expect it that deep either. That's pretty crazy. Holy smokes. So that's cool, and it fits right in this little slot, and you just have a little storage cubby. This car did not come with a mobile connector, mobile charger, EVSE. I don't know if it does or if it's just this car, they didn't throw it in or what happened there, but we haven't seen what that looks like yet.
They also raise, which like no one else does.
Volvo.
That is a sort of a mic drop.
The question is this in the standard car?
Probably not.
I don't know. It didn't say it was in the optional extras.
We got to do some more digging.
Yeah, we'll have to go to our local Volvo dealer when the standard ones come in, because all the press cars are going to be fully loaded. So once it comes up, you just have to pull the headrest up, right?
Yep.
Wow.
So cool.
That is so nice. There's some other really functional features. First of all, the headroom under the trunk. I'm 6'1" or 180 something centimeters, low 180s. I cannot stand under here.
So what does that mean?
That means this should have gone higher.
Yes.
And I can't, oh wait, I can push it up a bit higher.
Can you save the setting?
Can I save the setting? Yes. So now I can stand underneath. So now let's see. Oh, whoops, wrong one. Now let's see if it will open back up to that height. Now, Jordan, what's very possible is if you see an EX90 with a big dent underneath it, is that they've programmed these to that height for a reason, because they parked them in the parking garage.
We've figured out,
And now we've just ruined this car.
Uh-oh.
Nope. It didn't go back up to full height.
So this is the full opening.
So this is full opening with the motors, and then you have to push it up the final bit.
Interesting.
That's unusual. But some other cool features, as I mentioned a lot on this channel, I love dogs. I have 3 big dogs, and Ellie especially has trouble jumping into anything. So Volvo engineered a feature especially for Ellie, my golden retriever, and I can't thank them enough. I can hit this little button and it will dump the rear suspension and do a full Carolina squat, getting it back to its South Carolina roots where this was built.
Right.
And I'm sure half the parking lot of people working there are driving squatted trucks. I don't know. And look at this thing. You can dump out the rear so you can get some nice tuck. Wouldn't it look amazing if you could just dump the air suspension all the way, Jordan?
Yeah.
That looks so good. And now the rear is significantly lower to the ground, and I can easily get the dog in and out. So smart. Now they've been doing this on XC90. It's not necessarily new for Volvo or for anyone else, but one touch and it'll just come right back up.
That's pretty cool.
I love it. I just love how really user thought out that is. And you've just brought me to my next point, Jordan. They even tell you what you can put in here.
Will it fit?
Will it drift is what we need next to it.
Oh, good. My dryer can fit.
Amazing. Is that one of the all-in-ones? Is that an LG or Samsung or?
Well, it's probably from
IKEA. I would imagine they went to IKEA and just,
they just measured everything.
So does that mean you can fit all of these at once or just individually?
I don't know.
They just put items there, but they don't necessarily
yeah.
say.
I'm really glad a golf bag fits in this car.
Oh,
really
thank
good.
goodness. Okay, that's great. All right, well, that is pretty cool, I would say. And I have to say, that's the little Volvo stuff that I just love.
Yep.
When I had the chance to view this car for the first time initially, those little details, those design touches, that's what gets me excited about it. This one is badged as EX90 because that's the the model that we have, but it's also the twin performance. And it's the white badge, which typically when you see the white badge on the back of a Volvo, it means it's the Recharge or even the Polestar optimized one. And so that means it's pretty, you know, the juicy one, more or less. Someone actually tested this car in wintertime and put a rear wiper on it.
That's cool.
So many cars, electric cars, are launching without rear wipers. I don't know what they're doing.
I don't either.
They should be loud and proud. Rear wiper.
That's a thick boy.
Enthusiast trend right here. And I'm just so happy to see that. And that's what happens when you have a car that's tested in Sweden in wintertime. It's going to get nasty and covered in schmutz and the roads are going to be nasty. You need this.
Yep.
So everything that's going on here in the back of the car is pretty cool. Back to the powertrain, because we're in the rear of the car. Under here is a, basically, in this case, actually your secondary drive. Your primary axle in this vehicle is front wheel drive, which is the opposite of EX30. So what I have an issue with fundamentally, Jordan, is I want to know what Volvo thinks an electric car should be. It should be, you know, this is how we believe the powertrain should be set up. This is how we believe the driving dynamics should be. And then we will scale the size from 30, 60, 90, and so on. This has a completely 180-degree opposite drivetrain strategy from the EX30, which, does that bother you?
I mean, I am left confused.
Yeah. So
most people, I don't know if they would notice or know or care, but that still begs the question also, which is like more efficient. Like usually they pick one and they have some reason.
Right.
And why are they doing two?
Well, they have two completely different architectures that are shared beyond the Geely group. So this is part of now Volvo being in a larger organization with platform sharing and part sharing, some compromises or some confusion
So we have
is
to ask,
left.
We have to ask Geely then.
Right. Yes. What basically we're talking about is in the EX30, when you drive around normally, and you have the dual motor version. It's rear wheel drive, which I think is the correct axle to drive on, especially an electric car. It gives you the good response, the driving dynamics. Even in wintertime, rear wheel drive is amazing. The one downside to having a rear drive primary axle is under regen situations, where typically the argument is from a stability standpoint, you can regen more on the front axle, it could be more efficient, but you lose out on slippery surfaces, getting the power to the ground and things like that. I say that too, but I've driven plenty of rear-wheel drive EVs that regen a ton on the rear axle without any issues. And so the EX30 is rear drive most of the time, unless you really give it lots of throttle, and then it will connect the front axle and go. We've seen this drivetrain clutch connect and disconnect strategy from many different automakers, and the EX30 at least is very slow and laggy, and I wasn't pleased with it. I cannot tell you about how the EX90 drives, but I can say there's certain settings in here that you can imagine based off our EX30 drive might perform similarly. Honestly, we haven't tried it, so I don't know. This is not us saying anything we shouldn't, but we'll certainly discuss that when we get to the driving portion. The rear of the EX90 actually will disconnect and it becomes front wheel drive. So it's front driven most of the time, which reduces flux related losses because it's a permanent magnet motor, and gear train related losses. And then it will have to, when you hit the throttle really hard, spin the motor up, rev match with the clutch, boom, and then you're good to go. Fundamentally though, this will primarily be a front wheel drive vehicle while cruising, and that's just a driving dynamic situation that I have no idea if it impacts it at all because I haven't driven it, but it's just something that comes to my mind.
That's how Rivian does it too, right? Is
Exactly.
Front wheel drive. And is that because when you're tootling around town and you like slow down, obviously the front motor captures more energy, and so they're regening through the front motor? Is that?
Well, it's just you can capture the same amount of energy each, but the weight shifts to the front of the car, so you can actually push that one harder rather than risking locking the rear wheels under a huge regen scenario if you just pull on the back tires. I'm not sure what the reasoning was here. It's just something as a nerd that this is why you watch Out of Spec. Everyone else can give you, oh, this is what this looks like, that's what that looks like. We're concerned about clutch connect strategies. Jordan, why don't you hop in the back seat? I'll jump up front and let's just go through some of the cabin in here. Welcome to the inside of the EX90 now. I have some very comfortable seats, Jordan.
It's my first time back here.
Yeah, how does it feel back there?
I mean, it's good. It's fine.
A little tight though?
Yeah, not very spacious. This seat is for sure further back than yours.
Yes, absolutely.
So ideally, yeah, 4 adults completely fine. Headroom is really awesome.
There's a couple issues right off the bat. The first is, and I'll sit in the back seat and give a back seat review, but the first is that the car just feels a bit narrow, and so you don't have this big width, this big expanse that you would typically have with an American, or at least an SUV designed for the American market.
Right.
And you have this glass roof, which typically I love glass roofs, Jordan, but this has no electrochromatic dimming and no shade, and it is very warm.
My hand's pretty warm.
It's 96 degrees outside right now.
Have you touched it?
Well, that means it's soaking up some heat, which would be good. So it's definitely tinted, but it is letting through too much heat, I think. Too much light, too much heat, and there needs to be a shade, and maybe there will be a snap-in accessory that goes in here.
That'd be nice.
Yeah, yep. I think there's a way to work around it, but that is of concern to me. So from the seating perspective, I have this little square control on the side of my seat, which Jordan will overlay an B-roll of. And it basically can move forward, back, up, down, and then twist. And that will adjust my basic seat adjustments. If I press in the center of it, it will then cycle me through my tilt and lumbar supports. This is where I can raise and lower, you know, the tilt angle, and then I can push it in every direction to get the lumbar going, which is great. And then I can push it again to get to the third menu, which is going to be the side support. So I can open up the bolsters or close in the bolsters, and right here it's squeezing me or pulling me in. These seats are really configurable, really nicely adjustable. When I go to the massage function, I have massage program A, B, C, D, and E. And they all correspond to a name. You have wave, tread, combined, lower back, and shoulders. Combined sounds like maybe the one to go for. And then you have the speed that it will run through its cycles, and the intensity at which it will pressurize the air bladders and do whatever else it's doing from a seating perspective. And to me, that is you know, very, very cool, and I'm going to go for that right now. And it says the massage program will run for 20 minutes, which is actually industry standard for massage.
Why is that?
Don't know. I'd love to know. Could be a durability of the seat situation, but almost every automaker limits you to 20 minutes. Lucid also 20 minutes, and that's just because I've been driving one. But yeah, pretty interesting, I would say.
I won't say how I was driving, but I was driving earlier, and I kept hitting restart when the 20 minutes finised.
Oh, did it pop up with a restart?
Yep.
Okay, that's cool.
At the end, it says, do you want the same thing again? I'm like, well, no, I want the different one, but I have to go back into the menus.
So you'll just go for it. One downside with this seat is you have a heated steering wheel with 3 adjustments. Volvo's always been great about that.
Yeah.
You have heated seat with 3 adjustments, but no cooled seats. And I thought at first it's because we have this wool interior, which I absolutely love. This combination of this light gray leather with this wool. It seems like it's going to be quite durable. They say pretty stain resistant. I love the little Swedish flag detail on the side. It's got speakers in the headrest, yo. It's pretty cool.
Yep.
But no cooling.
Yep.
That's kind of a shame that no cooled seats available. And then I thought, okay, well, what if we get the leather seats, or like at least maybe it's vegan leather, but what if you get the full material, not the wool? No cooled seats available at all in this vehicle, Jordan.
Yeah, not that I could tell, unless there's another trim that's not, I don't know.
Here, the 2 ones they brought here, they brought 2 launch communication specs of EX90, neither of which have cooling seats, and they're both fully spec'd cars.
Yeah.
That's concerning.
So that's weird, unless this is considered a more premium spec than whatever cooled seat they have. This is a great seat, but yeah, I would like cooled seats.
Yeah, I think this plus cooling would have been really nice.
Out here, it's
and the EV9 comes standard with cooled seats.
Yeah, base model. It's amazing.
Do you have heated rear seats at least?
I do. Yep.
Okay, great.
Yep, decent display down here. So.
Wonderful. So that's the seating area. Nice center armrest, really kind of cool, durable material right here in the center for give some stuff. It's got a little tiny opening, but it does go fairly deep. And then below that is a little cubby that goes even deeper. So
I don't know why they do
what's going to happen, just in case Volvo engineers don't know, is you're going to put a bunch of stuff under there. And then you're going to put a bunch of stuff on top of here. And then you're going to have to remove everything in order to reopen those doors.
Yeah, what would you put way down?
It would be the most infuriating Put whatever you never want to see again for the rest of your life under there, because you will never get back to it.
If you like your valuables.
I guess. We have a 2 cup holders in the center, and in traditional Volvo fashion, we have the little sliding thing with the little individual ridges. This is very common on all of the, S60, S90, XC60, XC90, V60, V90 of the previous generations.
Yep.
I hope I covered those well. And then you have a little wireless phone charger that is really a wireless phone heater, in the sense that it literally just overheated this phone. Which
is our key to get out of here.
They did not provide us with a spare key other than this telephone. Yes, we're good.
Okay. Because that is our key.
They must have hid a spare key somewhere in here then.
That's possible.
Yeah, okay.
Although it's Apple's key system, which I don't know how that works. That might even allow for the NFC of the phone even while it's dead, which it should.
Right.
Which is cool. We'll cool that down for a while.
I've just slotted it into the phone cooler. So you heat it up here, you cool it down there, you never actually gain any charge, unfortunately.
Yeah.
And Jordan, this is the same exact unit we saw when we looked at the Polestar 3, and we thought, oh, these must be cooling vents, but actually no, that's where the key is placed if it runs out of battery or whatever. And so the other problem with this is if you floor it with your over 500 horsepower and your EX90 twin performance, that phone, I imagine, because we can't talk about driving impressions, nor, and honestly, we haven't really even done anything, but in Polestar 3, it just
maybe that's why they put this a little bit elevated to catch the phone.
I don't think they were thinking about that. But then in the center, you have this absolutely amazing volume knob.
I'm a huge, huge fan.
Well, first of all, you're a huge volume knob enthusiast.
Yeah, I didn't realize that till I drove the VinFast, which woke me up to good volume knobs.
And this is a nice, clicky, very light weighting. I would have actually preferred a bit more weighting on the action.
That's barely too light. The VinFast is barely too heavy.
I agree.
Like Goldilocks, I'm still looking for the right volume knob.
But you can also go left and right track, going like this. Up and down doesn't work, and then play and pause by pushing. This is really cool, and I'm so glad it's front and center. Just like a nice, high quality volume knob for a nice, high quality sound system.
Yeah.
This is also the Volvo branded water bottle.
Yep.
Not included, but definitely get your dealer to throw one in.
But now are we sponsored now? We took that.
No, I'm giving it back.
Okay.
Up here you have basically a leather-like dash with stitching put in. You have a head-up display that views out, just over the nose of the hood would be the relative distance. It's bright, it's clear, it shows speed limit, direction, some other things. That's really wonderful. I love the design detail of the center tweeter right here for the Bowers and Wilkins, really giving you a sense of you did not spec the Bose, you spec'd the correct sound system. And then I do this because I'm an idiot. Whenever I pull up next to a Volvo in the road, then I'm like at a stoplight, I'm like, did you spec the Bowers and Wilkins?
Think we're going to see anyone who has like a M240i with like an M2 badge? And their other car is the base EV or EX90 with that just stuck on the top, like a fake one.
Honestly, I hate to be that guy, but I always look to see like, did you get the good sound system or not? So yeah, I'm weird. I mean, and then sometimes I've even had a conversation with a guy at the Cane's drive-thru near my house. He rolled up in an XC90 T8 fully with the Polestar optimization, big accessory wheels, the 22s on that thing, and he was just jamming. I went up next to him like, dude, that thing sounds amazing. Doesn't that sound system rip? He's like, I bought the whole car just for the sound system.
I mean, I would do that for this too.
Yeah, so we can talk about the sound system in this when we get there, but it is really, really nice. The dash continues along, Jordan, with air vents, with moving adjustments in here. Really nice. There doesn't really seem to be a way to close them, though.
Nope.
So there's no way to really twist and shut them off like you can in the rear, actually. So in the rear, like the side vents, you have these central vents and the side vents, those can be disabled or enabled. And there seems to be different fan speed adjustments for the second row seating. That doesn't appear to be working at the moment. You have like low, medium, and high. We cannot sense a change. And we played around for a while with it. That could be something that comes through software. And then the third row also has cooling to it in the C-pillars, which is really nice, but also a single fan speed. And it's very possible that the third row will only have a single fan speed because that's just pulling the air from the central cabin to the back.
Right.
But it did get cold. As soon as you went to low temperature, it got ice cold back there.
That's good.
So I'm actually no complaints with the HVAC system so far. It's very quiet.
Dogs and kids should be okay.
Dogs and kids should be really great. If I come here to this menu, you can actually see the HVAC screen. And so you have low, medium, and high fan speed for the rear, low, medium, and high fan speed for the front on automatic. You have an eco mode. You can adjust the air manually if you'd like.
That's where you turn off and on the vents, I'm guessing.
Oh, yeah, you can turn off the vents just here through software. How about that? Good call, Jordan.
Interesting.
That's pretty neat. Okay, so that works well because a lot of times I'll have a passenger that just hates airflow, and I like it to be a freezer in the car all the time.
Right.
So you also have some manual controls where you can, as a slider, blast this thing up if you really want to just full rip. But this does not really adjust the third row.
Nope.
It does the second row is tied in with the front system. So the third row has just got that single fan speed to pull the air to the back. The one concern I have about this one, though, Jordan, is the lack of dog mode. So you can come over here to timers and you can keep climate active.
I haven't been able to get it to work except one time, and then it also still failed.
Really?
Yeah,
well,
so
this could be early software too.
Yeah, it's grayed out, and I got it earlier. It started to like flash grayed out and not grayed out, and so I really do think it's kind of glitchy software.
Okay, yeah.
But then I was able to start it, and then it said confirm, and I walked away, and it shut off.
Okay,
So-
so definitely. So I've already asked some Volvo people that, will there be an update before start of deliveries? And there's one major one coming,
Yep.
similar to like Polestar 3, I think, to just dial in those little stuff.
Yeah.
But certainly if we put it in the video, it almost forces them to really get that stuff
Yes,
right.
we're
I
covering
hope.
everything.
Absolutely. I mean, we've spent the last 5 hours with this, like
Yep.
hitting every single button and menu to try and see what's glitchy and what's not, and then let the Volvo people know. Because I think it's important for us to review the car for potential customers, but also for the company.
Yep.
Because we also focus on weird things. So we have poor outside air quality at the moment, which is actually really bad, but it actually gives us an opportunity to show everyone. See, now I can put this back in the phone heater. It gives us an opportunity to show everyone like kind of a cool system. So you can see we have O3.
Ooh.
I don't know. You don't want that.
Yeah, 126 per M3s is bad.
But how cool is it that it shows you every single thing that it's looking for and the type of pollen that we have? Like we have a little bit of ragweed pollen,
Yep.
but we don't have any pine pollen
Okay,
at the moment.
that's good.
But as the seasons change, you might see this, or as you transfer from one area to another.
So I could use this car to figure out what I'm allergic to.
There you go. Honestly, you probably could. It's really cool, but we definitely have like a major issue with O3 right now. What does it do to you if you have poor O3?
I don't know.
Someone let us know.
I don't see, you can't tap on it and get a whole write out.
Right, I'd like to know, like, I want to watch a YouTube video right now.
Just links to
Maybe we got to meet the air quality specialist at Volvo. But I've never seen a car give this much detail here,
That's
Jordan.
so cool.
That's pretty amazing. So I have to say, like, the climate system is one software update away from perfection.
Yep.
It needs dog mode, it needs keep climate mode, it needs the ability to rip the fans in the rear, and give us YouTube videos on how to learn about air quality.
Yep.
And then it's perfect.
Yeah.
So that's very cool. Really, really liking this. And the reason I cover climate so closely is because of Alyssa. She's very particular. And so that section was for Alyssa.
Mm-hmm.
Route planning is important to electric cars as well, Jordan. We're driving an electric car. It needs to get us from A to B. And this has Google Maps built in, which I just have to say is incredibly snappy.
Even I would say it is.
This software is, and you're so particular about this, as fast as I can hit the screen, it never loses my finger.
Yep.
It's just boom, 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 boom.
It's really responsive.
We are here in, don't even know the name of the town, but we're in Orange County, I think. So we want to go to Fort Collins. Oh, and I also want to show the viewer one more thing. I think I can just drag on the screen like that.
Yeah, that's pretty cool.
I love that.
It's running Android 12 at the moment. That's what I saw in the software history.
Mm-hmm. So I'm going to put in Fort Collins, Colorado, and let's let it look. I mean, we are in the mountains right now. It says multiple chargers are needed. If you hit start now, it freaks it out. You have to let it load chargers.
Wait,
I
yeah.
learned that with the EX30. So it's basically, there it goes. Just mapped out our charging stops. It says nine stops. That seems excessive. With 3 hours, 11 minutes of charging.
And with EX30, you couldn't change your state of charge on arrival at chargers, only the final.
Correct. And I think it's the same thing here, dude.
Yeah.
So you can see all stops. So let's just see. It seems to be doing a good job. Electrify America, 22%. That's probably the farthest one it's comfortable getting you to, although you could probably stretch it to Baker. Maybe not. I don't know. And then EA, then Shell Recharge, Vegas. I would probably skip that. Why does it not See, I'm stopped.
Uh,
What?
I don't like that.
That's not good smoothing.
So yeah, it's jumping to the
Like the
next
next
page,
section,
basically.
yeah.
Don't like that.
Electrify America, Electrify America,
Grant
Electrify
Junction,
America.
no.
Yeah, that's, well, okay, our viewers will know. No. And then it comes here. But that's really snappy. It targets a 12% arrival, it seems, at charging
Religiously,
stations.
yeah. It's like,
Yeah.
please arrive at exactly
But if I come
12%.
here to edit stops, no, there's got to be a settings one, right, Jordan?
Yeah, I think so. So 9 stops. I'm going to do it in 2 with the Lucid.
So let's just go to 1%. This, I think, is for the ending destination. Shoot. What difference does it make, though? It should still... Oh, no. Anyway, the route planning did its thing. When we get the car in, we'll do more testing. I think if I go to route options, there's no, like, let me just...
Yeah.
Yeah, I think it only lets you choose the ending thing, and it will always target 12% at chargers. We're at Volvo showroom, logged in here. So that's your nav. That's always there.
Yep.
You have your top bar, which is like your notifications and everything. Below notifications and nav, you then have your 2 sections, which is going to be media and phone.
Yep.
And then you have your moving adjustments based on what you do. Now, Jordan and I typically are not fan of these AI or moving or adjustable bars because something that you're used to having there, like your glove box, may not be there next time.
Right. And I do think the bottom right, they
show
said...
the glove box, by the way, so our viewers can see that.
Yeah, pretty
nicely
decent.
lined. Yeah.
The bottom right, they did say was fairly consistent. So at the moment we're stopped, which means glove box and camera is there. And then if we start moving, or
This
if you go into
becomes one-pedal drive.
Yeah, 1-pedal drive. And then if you start...
Yeah, well, the glove box went away there for a second, and now it's 1 pedal.
Yeah, and then once you start moving, the camera gets replaced by a performance button.
Oh, okay.
Which is cool, but actually, there's a lot of times where I'm at a stoplight, and I'm like, you know what, let's go to performance mode, and then I can't, because you have to go deeper into the settings.
Not a driving impression.
Not,
We're
yeah,
not saying
that's
how
just-
performance
yeah.
mode works.
Yeah.
Google Assistant and Spotify and Range, these are just some apps that we've had pull up.
Recently, yeah.
Yeah, okay. So then you have your bottom bar, which really never changes. So you have hazard lights down here, but I think there's a legal regulation where you can't have it. So you've got a backup right over here, which is great. Also up here, you have lights left and right, automatic when you open the door, SOS, and iOS iMessage?
I don't know.
What?
We'll find out.
Nothing happened. Maybe you got to push and hold. That's probably just like call Volvo for help. I don't know. Then you have your car setting, which brings you to your main quick controls. We'll go through that in a moment. You've got your heated seats on the right and heated seats and steering wheel on the left. Kind of interesting. You can pull them both up. That's cool. Your main all applications button, and then home will always bring you back to this menu.
Yep.
Which is really, really great. So let's go through
It's a more simplified bottom now.
Yes, so the home will get rid of those
Cool.
2 widgets.
Yeah.
I actually prefer this.
This is nice, yeah.
Yeah, I don't like these 2 things
Yeah.
here because I never actually
Yeah.
have my phone connected anyway. So that's perfect.
That's nice.
Yep. All right, so then we get applications. So we've got Bluetooth media player, radio, phone, range and trip. Let's go in here. You've got range assistant, range optimizer. I assume we'll just turn off some things to maximize range, so limits climate and driving performance. You have your range. It says estimated 90 miles. If we drive like idiots, we'd get 45. If we drive gently, we'd go up to 120, they claim. If we come here, it just explains it. And there is, it is only guessometer in this car. There is no rated range calculation, and it's based off of your driving during the last 200 miles.
Interesting.
Yep, so it's an average of the last 200 miles consumption multiplied by kilowatt hours in the battery pack gives you your estimated range. And in typical Volvo fashion, they go up and down in 10-mile increments until you get really low. So it'll go 100, 90, 80, 70. It will never go 99, 98, 97. As a nerd, I don't like that.
Yep.
Then we have our real-time consumption using 2 kilowatts here, sitting here just running the air conditioning. And then your average consumption is based during the last 300 miles of driving. Interesting that it's 2 different calculations there. You then have trip information, and this is what Volvo got so right. Thank you. They have a current trip, a since last charge, and since last reset.
That's all I got.
The since last charge is one of the most important things to me on a road trip because I love to know how that leg, how that stage, how that section was compared to other ones or the entire trip. And I'm just so happy that they included this in here. That's really a great one, I think. Okay, that's mostly for that application. Then we have maps we went through, Sirius, you have messages, YouTube, Bowers and Wilkins. We will go into that in a moment. Spotify, Tidal, and Vivaldi browser. What's that, Jordan?
So that's a web browser. I mean, Vivaldi is one of the, like, Chrome,
Oh,
Firefox. Vivaldi is another one. So that's very funny maybe that's bigger in Sweden or something. I don't know.
okay. When you come up to settings, we'll go there in a minute, actually. Let's talk sound system, Bowers and Wilkins.
Oh,
There's no way we would be able to even convey the sound system to our viewers because our microphones are not picking up the car audio. You do not have a over 1,000 watt Bowers and Wilkins sound system to take that audio and then play it in at home.
your iPhone SE that you're watching this on will just not do justice.
So they have this cool experience to celebrate and really showcase the Dolby Atmos in the system, and it, you know, can do a bunch of cool, I don't even know. You explain it, Jordan.
I mean, Dolby Atmos is a way to 3D-alize, what's a new word, the sound. And it's mixed in a sphere, and then they just, you know, this is 25 speakers, and so they're using 25 speakers to decode a sphere of sound.
Very cool. Then you have 3 different main listening modes. You have your studio setting, which is probably the most reference-like listening experience. When you're up front, honestly, the front mode sounds really good, Jordan.
Yeah.
Gives you this almost stereo-like channel, kind of how I actually like a true representative sound of especially older music, but stuff like that. Uh-oh, we lost our menu. What happened? Come on. Bowers and Wilkins, did it crash on us or did it time out?
I don't know.
Yeah, it's back to all now.
Oh, interesting.
Okay,
I
so
think it crashed. That's funny.
So, all right. Anyway, doesn't seem to be holding up anywhere. So you have that. Then you have the Gothenburg Concert Hall, which is like great for listening to classical music and gives you this really airy, this huge room vibe, and it simulates like the delay between speakers almost to give you a bigger type of room. And then you've got a stage where you can customize your own intensity and envelopment from a surround standpoint and sort of the height of the audio, and this is what Jordan calls up mixing.
Yeah, so you can take a stereo track and almost make it sound like Dolby Atmos by doing this.
Very cool. And the Volvos have had this for a while. My Polestar has this.
And it does it well. Some up mixes are gimmicky as heck, but this is pretty good.
Massage program has ended. We've been 20 minutes in this clip. Oh no, I missed it.
Oh, well, that
I'll
sucks.
go back to it. We'll go here. Wait.
You have to click the
I have
square.
to click the square in the seat.
Just a couple
And then
quirks
massage
of that,
and then start. Okay. Your system, we have a Dolby Atmos Technologies. So this is 4 woofers.
Wow,
so this
it tells
is just,
you where everything is. That's so cool.
So let's see. What else do we have in here?
Well, tap each of the... Oh.
Oh wait, it just got hung up for a second.
Or do you have to swipe through?
Yeah, so we have speaker count 25, 1610 watts, 25 channel audio system, tweeter on top technology, Nautilus tweeter, double dome tweeter tech. Dude, this is amazing.
So yeah, Nautilus tweeter is what they call that thing in the middle, and that's a very traditional Bowers & Wilkins system. Your home theater Bowers & Wilkins has that as well.
You have mid-range as well. The one thing I want to see is about the subwoofers below the woofers. So they didn't even talk about that.
Just bass.
The one thing I will say about the sound system, Jordan, because this is important, I think, to a lot of our viewers, when you get into XC90 with Bowers & Wilkins before, the older combustion ones, that thing was insane.
Yep.
And it had a big subwoofer in the back of it that like radiated through the whole car. The subwoofer and the woofers almost feel like they're down low and they're in the doors and they're up here, which is what this is indicating.
Yep.
And they have a ton of power, but if you go too much, if you go too loud, not only do they feel like they run out of steam and almost start overpowering themselves slightly.
Breaking up,
breaking up, the car starts to rattle.
Yeah.
And that's honestly the case with every Volvo with a big sound system.
But it's crazy because these are well-built cars.
Yes.
It's just 1.6 kilowatts of sound.
Yeah. You start to hear this door make some noises you've never heard it make before. And that I think is a real shame. I really think this thing should be able to handle full DJ Khaled at max rip without a rattle on a brand new car. That would be my impression. Yep. And again, it's not new for EX90, XC90, same thing. Whenever I get a Volvo press car on loan, the first day it sounds great. The 5th day, they sound totally rattly after because I'm just ripping on the sound system.
Yeah. And if you don't rip on it that hard, it still sounds amazing.
Yeah.
But then again, we actually wish there was like an EQ for lower volume versus higher volume.
Right. It's almost like we prefer different sound system characteristics for general listening than really loud, hardcore listening. If I come over here, there's also just some more things about Bowers & Wilkins that you can learn about their heritage and their offerings. And that's
So they tell you all this, but not what the parts per million of the air quality is.
right. Yeah. I mean, they tell you what it is, they just don't explain it.
Yeah.
Okay. That's this whole app menu, and I'm sure more applications will come through over-the-air updates and things will improve. Down here is the car menu, Jordan. You have your quick controls, so one pedal driving, on, auto, and off. Auto would be a distance-based situation. Lane keeping aid, on and off, where it pushes you back in. Performance all-wheel drive that will keep the rear motor connected at all times. You probably would want to use this also in slippery conditions, snow and ice, and other situations where it might make sense. Perhaps they will have, there is an off-road mode somewhere in here, but it says only use up to 25 miles per hour.
Yeah.
This might make sense for more slippery conditions, would be my recommendation. Light controls, mirror and steering wheel, trunk opening, glove box, rain sensitivity, all the normal stuff. Then we get to the real system settings here, and I love the layout. I think they did a really good job, except for a couple quick driving settings. I think they should bring quick controls. This should also have your suspension and steering adjustments.
Right.
Because let's say you're driving down the road and you want to adjust your suspension and steering. Again, not saying how they perform, but you've got to go driving. Then you have to go here to driving dynamics, and then you've got to go there. That's just too many buttons.
5 sections deep.
Basically, so yeah, so it's 1 click, 2, 3, 4.
Oh, 4. And then you tap,
5th.
yeah.
Yep.
Wow.
So that's pretty wild. So inside the driving setting, you have steering assist, lane change assist. We can't talk about how those work. You have your one pedal drive settings. You have the performance all-wheel drive, same setting as you've seen before. And then within more, you have one pedal drive and then your steering wheel soft and firm, which basically puts 2 different e-pass settings on the rack. And then you have your suspension feel soft and firm. And then off-road, which is raising the suspension up.
Ooh, and
up to
turns
25
off,
miles per hour.
Turns off on pedal driving.
Oh, that's interesting to see that go off. Can you run out and see how high it is?
Yeah.
I want to see it too. Let's take a look.
Nice.
Oh yeah, that looks great, dude. This thing, that's perfect for clearing a snowbank or a little water thing, and it moved up and down pretty quickly when we hit the button.
Probably get over the little curbs in the IKEA parking lot this way too, you know, like.
I don't know, IKEA's pretty hardcore. Okay. Maybe just Costco.
Looks awesome.
Yeah. And again, we didn't drive.
No
so
Nokians on this thing. Huh.
Yeah, Nokian tires, definitely get that. And it seems to have not remembered we left it in off-road mode. And now it says key not found.
Uh-oh.
Oh no. Jordan, oh no, here we go. Key not found. But it didn't remember to stay in off-road mode and it lowered itself back down.
Yeah.
So once you put it in off-road mode, my suggestion to Volvo is it should retain.
Yeah, do not get out whatever you do, because otherwise you'll be stuck.
You'll be beached on something, or it could damage the underside. I don't know how we're going to get out of here, but
we'll cross that bridge.
We'll deal with that later on. Okay, so lane keeping aid, steering and vibration, distraction alert. It says it resets to on for each new drive. We'll talk about that more in the driving situation. Then there's more, roadside information, going over the speed limit stuff. So lots of great aids in here. In terms of controls, you just have your basic display brightnesses. You have your rear fog light selection. A lot of these things are just menus deep, and I'm not sure I'm loving that at the moment.
Yeah.
Perhaps it's something that I would get used to. I mean, I'm certainly cool with it. It's just for, I'm thinking older people or folks that may not be so technically inclined. It might be a little bit clunky. But one thing I will say is that this is extremely snappy.
At least it's easy to use, yep.
Love that you can adjust the steering wheel, so I can go like this and pull it. It doesn't seem to come out enough for me.
Yep, that's as far as it goes.
Oh, okay, that's not enough.
Nope.
You need like
First
really
thing I did when
long-
I got in, I pulled it way out. It was way in. For some
Okay.
reason.
Wireless
You can turn off
device
wireless
charging.
charging. That's nice.
And so there's just like redundant controls throughout here. We've already gone through the sound system settings. Actually, maybe Jordan will like to show us there's a 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9 band.
9-band EQ, that's great.
Yep.
Fantastic. Separate bass and subwoofer control, much
Typical
needed.
Kyle mode.
Yeah, that's how you know he was just here.
Yeah. You've got connectivity for Bluetooth and hooking the car up to Wi-Fi. Charging menu, this is all us right here. They recommend a 90% daily charging limit, which is quite high for a 107 kilowatt hour pack with only a small buffer.
Yeah, so 4 kilowatt hours of buffer, but still So 10% plus that, I mean, that's like 15, 20 kilowatt hours you're leaving left uncharged, which
Should
is
be
not
okay.
bad, yeah.
But for long periods, and even if you're going to like store the car, we always go down to 50%
yeah.
for daily driving, 80 or 90 for, the day-to-day, and then 100 only for long trips. And since this car's on a program and being worked, we are bumping them all up to 100, which kind of makes sense because we're at 37 now.
Yep.
Okay, what else do we have here? This is where you can schedule charging. There's a limit charging current to just derate the charging current so you don't pop a circuit. That does not seem to be available at the moment, and these things will come, same with plug-in charge, at a later time. So these are all the features that will come through an update in the future.
That'll be nice.
Yeah, looking forward to playing around with that.
Plug-in charge.
Totally. We've got some profile stuff. We've got, your data and location sharing for some Google items. Basically say, do you want Google to have your data? You have your general settings. This is identical to Polestar, actually, Jordan, where you can choose the different units that you have. We have security update. We're on Android 12 at the moment. And this is our VIN number 523. What happens if I come in here? So it has little things that we can go into, but it doesn't let us actually change anything. Yeah. And we're on, Android 12. And then if I go here to software update, this car does support over-the-air software updates to every module. And the current version is 00.00.0000. And I'm sure the release notes are empty.
Oh, yep.
But it's spinning. Yeah, page not found. But it's cool. I mean, all this stuff, this worked really well on EX30, actually. So I imagine this is still early days. It's a production car, but running pre-production software. And everything is okay. And it requires service seemingly every 20,000 miles, which is a little bit weird, but maybe tire rotation or something like that. Is that enough on the system?
I think so.
All right. There's a bunch of storage down here. There's just like the car seems really nice, really well put together. And I'm going to do the back seat, the third row review, and then we can end this full tour because I can't wait to drive it. So you guys will have to wait literally weeks for that.
Yeah, sorry.
Unfortunately.
Not our fault.
Yep. So let's jump in the back. The driver's seat is set to where I would sit. It's now in my position, again, 6'1", 180 centimeters or so. If I jump into the second row, first thing I notice is the seat point is very high. It feels quite narrow, but Jordan, even though this seat is on the ground, I can fit my legs all the way under there.
That's good.
And there's a battery pack under here, so you're not gonna have a deep floor, but my legs feel kind of unlocked. They feel pretty good. I can recline this seat hardcore, which is pretty nice
on the other side so I can see.
Yeah, sure.
Wow.
So look at how much I can drop the seat back.
Nice.
That's amazing. The thing that I'm just lacking is the big arm room here. They built this thing for smaller people than Americans, maybe. But I don't know. I know some big Swedish dudes, some Vikings up there.
That's right.
Yeah. So like the doors right here, I just feel like there's not a lot of width.
Maybe they'll do a Viking spec with like captain's chairs that are like nice and spacious.
Yeah. Well, you can get a 6-seat configuration.
Yeah.
Yep. And so it just removes this, and you can see it's already designed to be removed more or less because there's it's an unlinked system. But I think maybe even the 6-seat kind of makes sense here.
Yeah.
It's surprisingly narrow in the back, which I think is actually not great if you have big kids or families. This center armrest cup holder is the most annoying thing to open. I can imagine in a room where they thought you would push straight down and it would open perfectly. But you generally sit like this. So my hand, I can't go any farther back. So I have to like push here and then push here, and I can't do them both at the same time. So I just think this is not the best design. But I do like it, someone very small is going to have to sit here. This is what can turn into like a little child booster seat, if you will. Oh, right. This lifts up, it's built in. Volvo, I think, only functionality at the moment, which is really cool. And I believe each seat, no, just the middle seat has that. But it might be optional to do the outboard seats as well. That's always been a Volvo thing. Yeah. You've got some lights back here. You've got your air vents and your screen where you can control temperature, left and right side, and then also your fan speed, but that doesn't seem to adjust anything at the moment. And then heated seats for the outboard seats, and really nice netting for a compartment to store things in. Also shout out, like we mentioned earlier, to the B-pillar vents. But the other thing is, Jordan, I can move this seat up quite a bit. So what I'm gonna do is kind of lock it where I would say, okay, that's as far forward as I could fit here comfortably, I would say. And my knees are basically right in the seat. So what I'm gonna do is now jump in the third row.
Oh, okay.
And see if I can do basically Kyle's position here, and Kyle's position there.
How do you get back there?
I'm gonna actually go in through this side so I don't mess up this seating position.
Right.
So I'll come around.
By the way, gotta love the Easter eggs on all the Volvo seatbelts since 1959.
How about that?
They invented the seatbelt.
Safety, brother. So I can pull this little tab right here, Jordan, if you can show.
Yep.
So I pull this one, and then the whole seat stays locked. So you could have a car seat here and not necessarily lose the, you know, you don't have to necessarily remove it, which is great. Even though this seat is pretty far back, I can still slide this one pretty far forwards.
Okay.
So it's enough for me to squeeze into the back. So, oh, this is not going to be pretty. Another thing I want to mention is these little tabs feel like they're going to break off.
Yeah, if you kick that.
I've never seen something like that in a car, really. Let me jump all the way over here. Now, if I were to sit in this seat, I can show the viewers here, I can just fit. I do have to do a little bit of a man spread, but I can get my knee straight under there to my hip point back there and actually fit, Jordan.
Wow. So we could both sit out there and podcast about the Volvo EX90.
I was just talking about my legs. My head doesn't fit. There's no headroom.
Yeah.
But I do have a nice vent right here blowing on me.
That's good.
Cool air.
That helps.
Yeah, that really does help. I have nice windows, USB-C ports back here as well, little cup holder built in, little storage compartment. It's pretty cheap plastic, but the kids are going to be back here. But look at that. That's pretty flimsy, dude.
Yeah. Kid-proof, maybe? I don't know.
Maybe. And then, yeah, just some other plasticky stuff like this piece here feels a bit too cheap for the $90,000 this fully spec'd one costs, I think. So yes, you can in theory fit 3 Kyles in here from a knee to hip ratio, but not from a headroom perspective. All right, I'm gonna jump out now and then we'll share our final thoughts of the EX90 Tour. I think we've covered a lot of ground in this video, Jordan.
Yeah, the only thing as you're trying to get out is there are no oh shit handles, which is something many people would try to hold on to get out of a vehicle or get in.
Not a single one in this whole car. I interrupt our main video because we're actually at the Volvo Technological Demonstration Stand. I've just come up with that name. Would have been better than the Pavilion.
Yeah.
Or whatever they called it. Anyway, this color is
mulberry.
Mulberry. I thought it was black from the other side, but it looks great.
Yeah, it's really nice.
This is also the other interior, Jordan. So this is part of the stand. I mean, they're, I guess, an optional package. No perforation on any EX90 we've seen so far, other than some of the stitching patterns here. But this is the 6-seat configuration for the car. So I think also just to get into it, feels nice. I mean, it really does feel like a similar seat structure, but even wider than the bench seat, dude. This is a much nicer back seat.
Yeah.
This is really cool.
And people can just crawl through the middle to get to the back. That's
yeah,
nice.
and then you have a little bit more knee room in the back, and I'm not sure if this will go ahead or behind our seating comparison. I think we did that towards the end of the video.
Yeah.
So this might be the choice if you don't need that 7th middle seat. So I just want to walk everyone through the technological demonstration. Volvo is sharing their technology with us. We should share it with you because that's why we're here. And I've had really the main reason that Jordan and I come to these events is yes, to drive the car, but also to chat with the engineers about the car. We can really dive into the cooling system strategy, the chassis system strategy. I was complaining to the head of Volvo safety about his 180km/h speed limit. And I'm like, we're in Germany. We got to go faster, yo.
And he's like, no, we're in California.
Like, no, this is not good. Anyway, it's really great. It's really fun. Just awesome people here. I mean, this is one of the best things when Volvo brings out the team. This is where we get the why behind the vehicle. It's so invaluable for us to come here. So let me just walk you through some of the stand. You're gonna see maybe some familiar faces in the background as well. Our friend Jordan over here, who's done a video on this channel before. If you wanna check it out, you did the Lightyear video, right?
The solar.
Yeah, the solar car thing.
Yeah, they canceled.
They canceled it. That's because you reviewed it.
Sorry.
He took down them. Marquez took down Fisker. Like we're
Yeah, basically. So Jordan doesn't have a mic on, but we'll have him back on the channel soon. He's getting a new Tesla Model 3 Performance. It's going to be sick. So content coming from his side in the near future. So yeah, he's going to have a bunch of FSD updates for us, which we got to get him with Andreas. So join us in here because we have a little bit of a sound system demonstration. Now, Jordan, this is your area. I'll let you go.
Bowers and Wilkins. I mean, we've talked about this with Volvo cars before, and especially this one. Just all the components in this car. We also had a demonstration up in the house where they had a pair of $70,000 towers.
It was 100,000. Yeah, that was just
100,000 system. Yeah. The amps and the towers were 100 grand.
Sounded like 100 grand.
It was amazing.
But I'm like, you know, you can get that $100,000 experience in a Volvo, and it comes with a battery.
And a car, yeah, and everything. It's great. Yeah. So they're very interesting. So that'll be fun to unpack.
We have all of the different exciting colors on offer, from gray to hearing aid to white to gray.
More gray.
And more gray interiors. And more gray.
Nice beige and gray and white.
I
Yeah.
love it. I really love it.
Max would probably love the hearing aid
This is a
color.
very Max interior and exterior combination. We have some friends here. Unfortunately, they seem to stop moving, but these are some of the dummies.
But
Sorry.
as you can tell, they're intact because these are very safe cars.
Right. Yeah, that's right. They've been through hell and back, but they're still alive. So it's going to get a little bit hectic around here, but this is the basically rolling chassis for EX90. This is the big deal.
Yeah.
The vehicle requests 700 amps from the charger, just so you know, Jordan.
That's impressive.
That's
Jeez.
what Jeremy at EVgo just told us.
So we need more.
That will come in the full driving review,
Yeah.
but a 700 amp request. That doesn't mean it will charge at 700 amps. We charged it at 540 amps, so you'll see that in our driving review in a couple weeks. Just to look at a little bit of the curve, and we'll have some more data coming on that, hopefully. But 700 amp request. The vehicle also supports bidirectional charging. And currently it supports only DC bidirectional charging, and it's through this DC Bell company, which is a Canadian-based company. These guys are awesome. We've already arranged to maybe go visit with them and talk about it, because they have a great Volvo partnership with some others. I spoke to the head of basically technology for Volvo, and I was really pushing for AC bidirectional.
Yeah.
And he said, look, we know this is something that we're really considering, and we'll see if they go that way. But there's some benefits to AC, there's some benefits to DC, but from a cost perspective, AC is so much lower barrier to entry to install at home. But DC Bell has some really cool DC integration as well, where you can tie in some solar and some other things with this unit. This unit can AC and DC charge a car, so we're not going to dig into it too much in this review, but we will have a video coming with these guys at some point in the near future, and here they are. So you'll see them on YouTube some point soon. To nerd out about the car itself, I just want to walk everyone through the componentry and what we have here. So you have essentially your onboard charger in the back, 48 amp for single phase markets, and I think it's 3-phase 32 amp, 22 kilowatt in the European markets. You have an inverter and then your motor in the back here. It is silicon carbide inverter in the front, silicon in the rear. That makes sense because it's a front primary drive, and then this is on the clutch disconnect where you really want it for the power. And under power, IGBTs versus silicon carbide under hard load doesn't really matter so much. In terms of the suspension setup in the rear, I'm just looking at this for the first time. You have your rear stabilizer bar that comes out, your rear airbag, your damper here, although this doesn't look like it'll hold up the car there, Jordan. Does it? Needs some top adjustments as well. But you can also see some interesting bushings and bearings, and look at this freaking lower casting, dude. Holy
That's
smokes.
hardcore.
That is cool. This thing is no joke. Half shafts look really beefy as well. And they're both, again, dual permanent magnet motors. You can see the cooling lines here running into the inverter, which is really neat. And I guess what else is there to show? You have essentially all of your modules for your battery pack here. It is, like I mentioned many times, 111 kilowatt hour gross, 107 usable. There's actually a Volvo battery passport function that will show you power out, but there's a bunch of nerd data that we're going to show you on the car here in a little bit. Really love that. But you have some of your DC to DC, your powertrain control or power control systems here in this little almost penthouse style, if you will, but also just quite a bit of open room around that maybe could be used for a facelift model with some updates, not sure. From a cooling strategy, you have a secondary cooling loop to cool the DC to DC. You can see that line running over there. And then you have two main output and then a return for your battery cooling. It is bottom plate cooling. You can see where the coolant comes in and comes out. Talking to the powertrain guys, they're like, you can rip on this thing. There's no DC counter. There's no BMW limit you to 40 kilowatt nonsense here.
Nice.
You just drive it, rip it, charge it, drive it, rip it, charge it. And they said, no issues, Jordan. They've tested it. They said 1,000-kilometer challenge, easy.
Well, it can't do more than 180 kph.
But you can't go more than 112 miles an hour, which is fine for everywhere except Germany. But we have to give them crap for something.
Yeah.
You-
This can't be perfect.
Absolutely. Really cool double wishbone construction up here, which is unusual to find. I mean, Lucid Gravity is going to be double wishbone, but that is a real performance-oriented choice. Just keeps that tire on the ground under high lateral forces when hitting bumps. It will give it sort of a predictable feel while driving, hopefully, fingers crossed, as we get into there. Of course, we'll find out when we can talk about the driving portion, but look at this big boy air chamber right here. Dual chamber in that particular one. Again, adaptive damper as well. A few different settings. We're going to have to play around with how that feels. And then you have your power electronics here. You have your chiller, you have your inverter on top of the motor. A little bit of messiness with the coolant lines around here. Your impression, Jordan?
That's pretty wild, yeah. I mean, we can kind of see why the frunk is not very deep.
Well, exactly, yeah. So your front, spatial requirements would fit all around this, essentially. And you know, there will be what's interesting is right now with the all-wheel drive, the front's the primary axle,
Yeah.
but there's a rear-wheel drive according to a spec sheet, which would mean that you're actually changing the primary axle to the rear.
And then maybe a bigger front like we saw with EV9.
How cool would that be?
That'd be cool.
Crash bar, crash strategy all around through here. Makes sense. Some brake lines, brake booster stuff on this side. But you've got some pretty juicy tires as well. 265s up front, 295s in the rear.
Yeah, that's wide.
That's quite a bit of rubber.
Huge stabilizer bar in the front too.
Well, you need it when you have that much lateral force, dude. This thing weighs a lot. I don't know exact weight. Do you? 5,000?
It's around a little over 5,000, yeah.
Yeah, I mean, it's in the zone, in the region. But I'm trying to think what else would be interesting to you. They're CATL cells, so the cattle. They're prismatic NMC. They won't release the ratio, but my guess is maybe 811-ish.
Yeah,
that
typical.
seems to be what everyone's settling in at. The bidirectional capability is, again, only DC out at the moment, which isn't that exciting, but they're looking at AC, so I'm really looking forward to seeing something like that. And from a architecture standpoint, this is a ground-up battery electric scalable product architecture to really nice approach, and again 400-volt region. It's like mid threes dead,
Yeah.
and then like low to mid fours, 430 full, 440 full, something like that is the guess at the moment.
Just not the mic drop that we hoped for.
It's not the Lotus Electra charging curve, that's for sure.
Yep.
What else is there to show you? This is the bidirectional charging stand.
More DC bell.
We've
Qualcomm
got
over here.
Qualcomm Snapdragon from some electrical architecture situations,
And that's
so
like the chip inside the car, which is fantastic. Like
yeah,
super,
I mean,
super
so
speedy.
snappy,
Yep.
and that's what's impressive is this is still on pre-delivery, pre-series software. Okay, we're getting kicked out, but we essentially, pre-series, pre-delivery software is incredibly fast, incredibly snappy, and I thought, okay, that's pretty damn good.
So this is Scotty. We did the Rolls-Royce Spectre review together.
And this is a crazy technology. So this actually is birch wood, and it's so thin, they put a panel of plastic behind it that has light, and this is what it looks like at night.
That's
And
crazy.
It's insane. Isn't
So
it? And
during
so
the day, this is just normal wood.
it just looks like wood, and it looks like open pore wood, and when I touch it, I can actually feel the texture of the wood. I can feel
That's
texture of the wood.
crazy. I've never seen anything like that.
No, I've never seen anything like it either. It is insane.
How did they get that past durability? This is like stuff Rolls-Royce doesn't even have.
Right. And you know what? I asked if this was so the designer was from Bentley. And I said, so I'm going to see Bentley design, Bentley kind of things here. And she's like, no. This is more advanced.
Oh, cool.
She didn't say that. That's me saying that. But that's
the
what she
vibe.
meant.
Yeah.
That was the vibe. That was the vibe.
This is pretty
Is it?
incredible.
It's insane, right? But
Can
I
you
will
change
say,
the color?
No, you cannot.
Okay.
That is the color. But I'm sure that's next. But here's the other thing is to turn the light down, you have to so you can bring it all down.
Mm-hmm.
So if I want to take the light underneath the center console lower, I have to take it all down, which means I can't have that.
Oh, so all the zones are linked,
So
which is
I want-
annoying.
I want this bright. I don't want this under here. To me, that's
Distracting.
it is distracting.
Totally agree. So
And
let's
then I don't know
zone
what
it.
this stuff is over here too.
So there's some hotkeys for window cleaning, or sorry, like the defrosting buttons up there in case the screen fails.
Yeah.
But yeah, those are really bright. I don't know if that's just for the show car or not.
Oh, here? No.
No, these ones up here. Because it just
up
looks
here,
so
up
bright.
here.
in this
Yeah.
small-
All of this looks really bright.
Yeah.
And it's too bright for me. But did you see this though?
I didn't realize it lit up. Thanks for pointing it out. That's
and it's
amazing.
backlit and it's 3D printed.
The inlays 3D printed?
Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah.
That's cool.
It's those little things. And I just love the play and pause. And then, it does dial, but that's 3D printed underneath.
So, Scotty, this clip will go in our video, just a tour before the driving impressions we can talk about. But I'm sure everyone would love to get a brief impression from you on the design, the interior, the sizing, the competitive segment side. What do you think?
I love this interior. I think it's beautiful. It is a breath of fresh air. For a 3-row SUV, it's small.
Yeah.
Even though this is 3 inches longer and it's wider than the XC90, it is still small. If you are going to use the third row, get the captain's chairs in the center row. If you really need to use the third row and have a center row bench, this is not the car for you. That'd be the EV9.
Yeah, EV9 definitely a little bit more
Yeah.
family friendly, but this, if you can fit into this though, certainly
If
is
this,
the move.
Yes. And you know what? If you need like 1 or 2 seats in the center and 1 or 2 seats in the rear, and you could do captain's chairs, this is great. The drive, can I talk about the drive?
Nope, not in this video.
Can't drive it. I can't tell you what I thought about the drive experience. But the interior is pretty spectacular. I love all this. So this is one of my favorite things right here. Did you not love this?
Oh, it's amazing.
This little screen, and it sits with the steering wheel. I wish it was a Squircle. I think it needs
Really?
space.
Okay,
I do.
okay.
I wish it was a Squircle. I love a Squircle. I love how once I drive a Squircle and I go back to it, like the first thing I thought was, oh, it's round.
Amazing. Okay.
I did not love that. But I do love that the display stays with the steering wheel. I like the head up. I like the size of this. I don't love some of the features that are like the driver assist stuff, that I have to go in here to change my mirrors.
And things are menus deep in this one.
Yeah, that's not great. I don't love that. Like they could use a few more buttons. This is the only button in the entire car.
Right.
There is one button and it's right there. It's beautiful, but we need a few more things here. So that I will say I don't love having to go into here to like change my mirrors or set my steering wheel. And I think they think people do that before they drive, and we don't.
No, we always adjust like while we're driving
Right?
and like for the different types of
It's
driving.
true.
Yeah.
It's true.
Yeah.
It's
I'm with you on
sad
this.
but true. Sad but true.
Well, thank you for that,
you,
Jordan. Welcome to the interior. I'm not asking your Jordan. You just got to get your reaction to this. That's the ambient lighting, Jordan. That was a wood trim panel before.
This is when you can feel it. It's not before. It still is wood.
It's still, yeah, I'm shook. I did not expect that at
Isn't
all.
that insane?
Yeah, yeah.
What the heck?
As Gen Z would say, I'm shook.
You're sure? One thing I have to mention about the EX90 is actually the window switches. They're very similar to EX30, so a couple issues. During the daytime, these are so dim, it's very hard to actually see the buttons, but you have to select front or rear with these two buttons. So it's same as like ID4 or EX30, and that's really a problem. And I had dinner with the interior designer of this car, and I think she now realizes it's a problem, and she doesn't want to talk to me anymore because I complained so much about this. But and so did all my friends that joined me for dinner. Were like, what were you thinking with this? It's so stupid. I get on EX30, it's like a space thing, a cost thing, but this is EX90, a $90,000 car in this spec. Like, don't do this BS. Anyway, the point's been made to Volvo. Unfortunately, this is the way it is. It's a pain in the ass. It sucks. And you have basically two of the same window switches, and you have to select which window you're choosing, and there's no all window button. Oh, really bad. Sorry for the bright light, but I just want to show everyone these sick cup holders.
Wow. Didn't see that coming.
No, it's
So focus on those sick couple.
yeah. We've got these. These are not so sick, but you also have we really sucked in this hour video showing nothing about the car. Here's two USB ports, by the
They're
way.
only 13.5 watts, so.
All right, you already tried them?
Yep.
That's not good, dude. EQS has 100 watts.
Yep.
What's up with that? All right, this. You gotta buy this car just for the freaking cup holders. Those are so cool. All right, also just checking this out. My friend Gary told me that there are ISOFIX points for the third row in EX90 rather than the top tether, so you can actually put some car seats back there pretty easily. Well, there you guys go. The full tour of the Volvo EX90, the series production one, where we've finally been able to look at it. Certainly it feels like it's been taking a little while to come to market, but I'm so happy that it's finally here and start of production has happened. It's a really good looking vehicle, Jordan. I think this has the right image, the right overall quality. Sure, we can nitpick a little bit on some interior plastics, but the fit and finish, the vibe, it's so calming being around this car, I think is the right word to use.
Yeah, as a showroom impression, because that's what this is, because we can't drive it. If I got in a showroom and sat in this, experienced the sound system, the fit and finish, the materials, the design, obviously, so many good things.
I just think compared to the very competitive segment vehicles that are in here, R1S, EV9 really does come to mind. Lucid Gravity launching before the end of the year. The space in this one isn't so good. The space efficiency, considering the size of it, it is a bit tight in there compared to some of its competition. But I also think that could make it maybe more placeable, more, I don't even know. I just think we can't talk about how it drives. But what we can say at least is if you don't have a huge family, right, if it's just maybe 2 kids plus a dog, this will work perfectly fine.
Which a lot of people are looking for, like the 3-row SUV, because they want something bigger than the 2-row, but they don't need 6 seats.
Yeah,
or 7
exactly.
seats. So this is perfect for that.
There's more that we need to talk about: towing, charging, all the stuff that we have to test when it's time, run it through all the challenges. I don't actually even know what its tow rating is. Do you, Jordan?
I do not know.
Okay, so I'm going to just double check that, because I'm just looking at some final things as well. It's on a staggered tire setup. Normally we would talk about that. So it's 265s up front, 295s in the back. That's for the 22-inch wheel. I'm not sure if that will change, you know, for the 20-inch wheels. And I'm just looking to see top speed 180 kph, typical for every Volvo that's new. Let's see, max trailer weight 2,200 kilograms for the all-wheel drive. They actually show 1,200 kilograms for the rear-wheel drive, but they make no other mention of rear-wheel drive. So this is Volvo confirming that there will be a rear-wheel drive version.
Cool.
Glad to see it's rear-wheel drive and not front-wheel drive.
That's good.
Yeah, that's really good. So yeah, it'll do 2,200 kilograms.
Not bad.
I'm just seeing if there's anything else. Yeah, double wishbone up front, which is pretty cool. Braking distance 100 kph to 0 is 35 meters. Seems good. Yeah, that's that. Thanks for watching the Volvo EX90 full tour. Anything that we sort of missed in this video, and of course more, will come in the driving video where we drive it for the first time. So I hope you tune back in when we do that, because that could be the make or break. If it drives poorly, certainly can't recommend it. If it drives amazing, certainly going to tell everyone to go get one of these unless you need something with more space. But it's certainly got the image. I think the price point is right in line with the competition. It's American made, which is really cool for our market. Shout out to Charleston, South Carolina. And there you have it, the Volvo EX90 full tour. Really curious to see your comments below. Would you go for one? Have you gone for one? Did you cancel your order because things aren't included at day one? And are you as excited as I am for this one? Because this is one of those cars that pulls at my heartstrings a bit, Jordan, because I'm a Volvo enthusiast, unashamedly. And well, this and my Polestar 1 would look really good next to each other.
2-car solution.
Absolutely, the 2-car solution from Volvo. Well, technically Polestar and Volvo, same thing. Anyway, thanks so much for watching. We'll see you on another one again soon. Bye-bye. So I've just selected the second row, or sorry, excuse me. Let me restart all that. Shit.